Hey guys, Kevin Grell here. I'm going to be going through real quick on how to set up a VESC and make a wiring harness. I know a lot of people keep asking. This is at home, so forgive the mess. I'm in an apartment in San Francisco. USB or Bluetooth for a VESC. This version of Throttle does not have the Bluetooth built in. The next version in a few months will have Bluetooth built in, so you don't have to pin out this right here. This is a amp seal connection connector, and they use the pins that look like this, and they go in to the waterproof, and they click in, and it's all good to go. So I take off the plastic cover. I Dremel it off just because I like sticking in bigger stuff. I drew out the holes of the silicone and the guide inside just so I can fit larger gauge wires. That's just because I'm weird. But you can do whatever you want. Typically, you're supposed to use smaller gauge wires than what I'm using right here. I'm going to turn the unit on. I have it on a handlebar switch. 3, 2, 1. There you go. It's on. And I'm going to go into the manual here, and let's go to user manuals, C1000. So connector 1 is top left. This right here is my arming pin. This comes straight from the switch, going right to a fuse to the battery. This is it right here. So that's pin number 26 at the bottom right. And if you look, pin 26 is all you need to do to turn this thing on. Make sure you fuse this at 1 amp or so. Don't get this mixed up with 5 volts. Don't send your, you're basically sending plus of your battery to pin 26, and the blue lights will come on. That's all you really need to do to get it set up. Looks like I have a fault here. Let's see what it's about. So anyways, Bluetooth, I hook up to pin 5 and 6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That went to these colors right here, yellow and green. 5 volts to power up that USB device was off pin 19 is where I get this red from. Ground is internally bus on 12 and 8. Still a little more interested in what this fault is. So I'm going to open up VESC tool, connect, and let's move over to terminal, and I can type in faults or just do a shortcut here. Over temp motor. Well, that's cool, I guess. We can deal with that later. I might as well deal with it now. General temperature. It's probably the wrong things. I'm just going to disable temperature for now. And that light will go away. 3, 2, 1, it's gone. So now I can do whatever the hell I want here. Let's go to start. I've never done motor tuning on this yet. Let's see. 81 volts in. This is a 20 series little Suron pack. Okay. So let's go right to app configuration. I'm not going to be using any wizards here. I'm going to be only going on the back end. I like to go hard first and easy later. By default, it'll have UART. So if I try to read ADC mapping, it's not going to show anything when I spin the throttle here. That's fine. I need to go to ADC and UART, write that configuration, and now I can go here to mapping. I can see live voltage. And I can see live voltage in my regen. So it's my regen on the bottom. It auto sets the start and end point. Let's write this. Now I need to tell that throttle what to do, and that's most likely going to motor configuration. I disabled the temperature already. I'm fine with that. Go to the 3 dots, detect FOC. This is a bigger motor, and so instead of 20 amps like a skateboard motor, let's just go with 80 or 100. That's all fine. It's going to send some music. Cool. And it's going to spin it up. Lady friends like that. You can hit calculate. All right, cool. That's done. Write it. Come over here. Reap your rewards. We're only sending 3 amps. Let's send some more. Need more than 3 amps to turn this motor. Need more than 17 amps. That's it. Bare minimum to get that to happen is 1 wire to trigger this on pin 26. Then you're going to need to send 5 volts, ground, and Bluetooth send and receive. So it's 5 wires total. You got to pop in the connector here, and you can be doing what I'm doing right here, all over Bluetooth. So that's pretty exciting, but why not try, let's hook up some Hall sensors to this. So right now the motor is set up as sensorless. If I click on Hall sensors, a lot of people have this issue right here. They'll select Hall sensors, but as you notice, you can't do anything now. Well, sometimes you can't. If it's set as Hall sensors and it doesn't know where the Hall sensors are, it may stall the motor and create issues. So go back over to motor configuration and then click on detect Hall sensor. So right now you should see arbitrary numbers from 0 to 255, and that's based on the processor, like 8-bit versus 16-bit, just like colors on a web page, 255, 0 to 255. There's different gradients and steps that have to be converted from analog voltage to digital numbers. All right, so let's go to, same as motor detect, let's send about 80 amps here, and it's gonna spin it. It's gonna isometrically apply 80 amps forward with 70 amps break. That way it doesn't spin up way too fast. And it's going, and Hall sensor readings are coming back to this and coming back just like web page colors. Cool, that one's touching, that's halfway through, almost nothing touching, etc. So let's write that, and now write that. We are technically good to go. I can now, remember this was a brand new speed control right before I started. You can probably right now go to app configuration and then click on ADC. And what is my throttle doing? I haven't instructed it to do anything. The second I go here to go to current and write it, now it's gonna instruct it to move. I want brake though. I don't have brake. Let's go to here. Current ADC2. So I hooked up, here's my ADC2. This is for this little cute little throttle right here. ADC2 needs 5 volts plus and minus. So ground and 5, ground 5, ground 5. And then it needs an output from this. So once this gets 5 volts, right now it's outputting 0.6 or 0.8. Now it's outputting 4 volts. 2, 3, 4. So that's being sent to this pin down here. We can go back to here, and that's pin number ADC2 is what I have sent to pin number 21. So that's 2021. Second one over on the bottom. So it's going to pin number 21 over here. Second one over. So if I'm doing this right, it's my first time, I get to see if it works. Let's write this. Since I already did the ABC mapping, you see it's ADC2 is already set, so we should be able to give throttle. Cool, now we got brake. Cool. Let's go back to, I didn't go over how I hooked up ADC1, that's pin number 20. It's the first pin over here. It says blue wire. Follow it down and it goes to this. So I have, 5 volts powering the Sur-Ron throttle. I have ground powering the Sur-Ron throttle, and this is the output back from the throttle to the VESC on pin number 20. See, pin number 20. So that's why this is able to work already. You can verify that right here. Throttle, 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 throttle. Brake. So if I don't like the brake, I can go over to motor, general, current, and that's how quickly this motor is going to spin up. I want this to spin fucking fast and crazy, like wheelie off the line. Let's say we do 700 phase amps. Let's just do 400 right now. This motor might not be fully tuned yet. So set that, and then the brake. Gotta be careful if you set too much current on the brake. If you're full battery, full throttle, and then come full brake after high speed, it may jump the voltage up to the point where the battery is like, hey, I can't take any more of the incoming voltage and current. It's going to throw a fault in this, and it's going to turn off for half a second. So let's just set this at 80, minus 80. Whatever. Cool. Absolute maximum, since this motor isn't tuned yet, just set to 140% of what you have right there. So let's just do 550. That's if in case there's any current spikes. If you don't have it tuned perfectly or for whatever reason, don't keep this at full. This is your safety margin to not blow up the VESC. If I'm never going to be pulling over 300 phase amps on this, well, don't set absolute maximum to 1,000. Set it to 600. All right, write that. So that's phase amps. That's how much is going there. Then there's battery amps, how much you're going to pull from the battery. That's hidden down here, unfortunately. So this battery can do 250 amps. I don't need to do any more of this. 99 amps is going to get you about 40 miles an hour until it hits an amp limit. Let's just do 150 battery amps. And the regen, how much can your thing take when it's sucking in, when it's regenning like a Honda Prius or Toyota Prius? Let's just say 50 amps, minus 50. Okay. I don't know what the hell I did. I don't know why I did that. I wasn't paying attention. Maybe I did 1,000 or something. Let's do 200. Okay, right. Now let's go watch some real-time data. I'm gonna give full throttle. Brake. 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 I mean, that's all you need to do. Hook up the chain and go ride. As long as your hall sensors are working, awesome, you can go ride at this moment. Don't forget, you need to have some type of way in case shit goes bad, a way to turn the thing off. I like keeping the connectors out on a loop so I can just yank in case anything weird goes on. There's also a setting where you can take an unused pin. It's under ADC, and you can, somewhere under here, you can take an unused pin to TX or RX. I'm already using TX and RX for my third-party meter module. That's going to be hooked up in a second. This gives me like real-time data logging that VESC is not quite ready for. So I'm already using that, so I can't use that for a reverse button unless I rewrote the firmware. There is another setting for what's called like kill button. Kill switch, where are you? It's probably kill switch. So if you want to, this turns off the power to the VESC, but you could also have like a key ignition. First turns on the power, second arms it. So it can be high-low. If you want to have a second button, just like an old school kill switch, this is where you use it. You hook this up to ground and just send it to PPM. No one's going to be using PPM. That's skateboard remotes. 1,500 pulses a second for neutral, 2,000 pulses a second for full throttle, and 1,000 pulses per second for full brake. We're not going to be using that unless you're building a crazy tank skateboard or something. So you've got that left over. So when you can, hook up PPM, and that would be pin, look for PPM on your wiring harness. PPM, there you go. Pin 22 is where you'd send kill switch. Just send a ground on a momentary switch or a latching switch up here. And you can use a kill switch. That'll just completely disregard any throttle input. I'm not tested to see if it still allows brake, but it definitely doesn't allow this to happen. So you can still have your lights on and like see all your dash and have the Bluetooth on, but have this so like, you know, if you're moving it around or some kids are around it, but you want it to be on, you can have like a hidden kill switch that disables it. That's a good thing to have right there. All right. All these other things, you just hit help on, you know, there's so much help here. Motor, help, tells you what they do. I could probably go riding right now. There's a few other weird things like under advanced, let's go to FOC, which is field orientated control. That's when you're giving above hall sensor speeds on ERPM, above 3,000 by default. It goes into field orientated control, and that's why VESC are so cool. They're so smooth. There's not square wave. Much more efficient, quieter, and create less heat. And some will say less torque, more torque, but I'm not going to get into that. Go to FOC under motor. Go to advanced. And you'll find that some motors enjoy Ortega. This is a way it decides, based on feedback. Since Hall sensors stop working after 3000 ERPM, it's a way to it listens and knows where it is. If you're using the wrong algorithm, so I was on this Lemming Lambda compressed. This one works better on a lot of motors. I'm going to do it here. I don't know why it isn't by default. You might want to change that. Let's see. General. All these things were determined through the auto detect down here, detect FOC. Don't really want to change those, but you're welcome to change flux linkage, bring it down if you're having issues. These are very small movements. Move it up like 1, 2, 3% at a time max. See how it goes and put it back to default. Take a screenshot. There's a neat function in here if you're going to be fucking around with settings. Go to backup configurations. And this thing basically has the equivalent of a MAC address like on a computer. And it's specific not to the Bluetooth module, but it's specific to this unit. So it's called a UUID. In engineering terms, it's kind of known. But anyways, that's a UUID. This is how we track to see if people have swapped parts or, just change cases. Serial number is one thing, but this is another way we track. So I backed it up. So now I can do whatever I want. I can come here and mess this shit up. Let's go to motor configuration. Let's just change this to some obscene thing. All right. Now I'm going to give it a little bit of throttle. All right, I've screwed it up. Good. Awesome. Let's restore that shit. So once you have a known working tune, you have a backup. Another good thing to do is come here and go to activate bridge. And what that does, it takes this Bluetooth link from here to here. And so there's data on here being transferred to here. And now this shoots up to the Wi-Fi of all the house. So I already activated that bridge. So I already activated that bridge a while ago. Guess what? The new VESC tool, you used to have to go down over here to connection, TCP, type in the manual thing you saw on your phone earlier. Now it just shows up. It's a sniffer. It sniffs as long as you're on the same subnet on your Wi-Fi. You can also have someone do remote sessions from hundreds of miles away. The same thing. So I go to connect here. Just for the hell of it, read all these things. Sometimes they don't come through perfect. Now I can actually see what's on here. So the same motor settings we saw earlier are all here. All these things are identical. The cool part is I can go over here and turn on real-time app and real-time this, and I can see what is going on with any of my things. So real-time data, I can see how many volts are sitting there. If I give it throttle, let's just bring this over here. So this is basically like a virtual USB connector. See negative current when I braked. So anyways, what's good about this and what you should do, this is a point where if you back up configuration right here, it's going to back it up just for that UUID. So I like to back it up in here. I like to save motor as. Let's do a CL1000 motor. Cool. And then file, save this. App configuration, CL1000 app. And this will allow me to share settings with someone else over email. They can have all the tune versus just doing screenshots. What it won't do, it doesn't know if your motor wires are disconnected, your Hall sensors are slightly different. You're gonna have to run the test for the Hall sensor by spinning the motor and all that, but then you can load all those settings. There's a bunch more things you can do in here. Let's go real-time app. So this is the same like the phone app. Go to ADC, mapping, and you can see your live voltages. I'm gonna press full brake, and full throttle. Same thing over here, current no reverse ADC2. If I turn this to off and write this, it's gonna not work anymore. You can also go to controls and make your keyboard spin it up. So let's turn that off and go back here and go current no reverse ADC2, write the configuration. So that's all there really is to get one of these things going. I'm sure I'm going and missing a lot of things here. You can also plug in your USB cable, which I've already have hardwired on here. Let's go ahead and plug that in. This is for people that are having Bluetooth issues, or I don't know why you'd use this other than a firmware update. Actually, that's a really good reason why you'd want that. Why are you getting pissed off? Let's disconnect. I've got to check USB pin out. I don't think I've got it hooked up. Let's see, plus, minus. I have them backwards. Send and receiver backwards right now, so I can fix that.